About a month ago, a friend on Twitter asked about making simple logos. I tried helping, but being a graphic designer and very visual-oriented person, I figured that a video would be better. What you're seeing is nearly the entire process of me making RetroCount's logo. I'm using Affinity Designer for this project, but I'll be doing a demonstration in Inkscape, a free program for vector imaging and design. There are simple ways to create a logo, whether you're an artist or a designer. You can use typography that suits your brand and play with it. Now, depending on who you are as a person or a business, you can find a font that matches. It's not about what looks cool or is stunning, it's about what serves the purpose and fits with who you are and what you do. You can find a royalty-free font that fits your brand. Most of the Google fonts are open license, so you can use them commercially. But always look up the EULA, or End User License Agreement, on each font type. If you have the money, you can always buy the commercial license for some of the really good fonts. And there are sites that do sell these fonts or offer free fonts, but again, check the EULA. You can take the initials and make a logo out of just those initials. This is commonly called a monogram or a lettermark logo. Lettermarks are typical for brand identities with long names or titles, such as IBM, NASA, or HBO. You can take a basic font and distort it to your desire. Think carefully on whether a lettermark alone fits the needs of your brand. It may not work for content creators unless they specifically have a long name or a title. Then there's the wordmark logo, basically the full name of your brand with a distinct font that complements your brand. Sometimes you can combine both lettermark and wordmarks together. Using multiple fonts is not advised. If you must, try to use only two and make sure that they complement each other. And again, it has to work for your brand. You can also use special symbols and letters to create something else. It can be pictorial or abstract, or an emblem or a mascot. Again, think of what fits the purpose of your brand. You can also play with negative and positive space to make your logo stand out more. This is another way to create something even though you have no prior experience drawing or any experience in art. By using something that already exists, either distorting it, stretching it, cutting it up, piecing it together, and duplicating, you can create something out of those pieces. I'm working with black and white for now. It's a good idea to keep your logo versatile for printing. It's good to have options for where your logo can be placed without worrying about parts of the logo blending in with the background or clashing horribly. You also want your logo to be recognizable and clear even when it's small. If your logo isn't clear, then it will risk losing certain details when reduced to a smaller size. You don't want to worry about that in the future when you're printing business cards or creating buttons, pins, or small merch. If your logo is going to be printed or branded on any merchandised product, you have to consider that your logo won't always work for certain printing techniques or certain materials. Thankfully, technology seems to be improving, but there's still going to be limitations. Simple is always best in my opinion. You can make your logo complex, but you should not go ham with adding so many details that won't serve any purpose other than pure aesthetics. Keep in mind, this is a logo, not a picture, not an illustration. Your logo represents your brand, and your brand is an identity. It's a clear mark representing you, your business, or your product. Now you've seen the demonstrations of making a simple logo with a free program using simple methods. It will take some time getting the hang of vector programs such as Inkscape and Adobe Illustrator. Thankfully, there are plenty of tutorials for these programs. Personally, I don't like Inkscape's interface, and Affinity Designer was a cheaper yet decent alternative to Adobe Illustrator. Now, continuing with the process of RetroCount's logo, I narrowed down a few font types that seemed to work. First, I spitballed some rough concepts and numbered them into a splash page. Once RetroCount narrowed down the ideas he liked, I proceeded to make different concepts and iterations of each concept. I repeated this process a few more times until we narrowed it down to one satisfactory design. While this is his logo, I still made sure to give my input on what would work best. we managed to find a design that we could both agree on. At this time, Retro Count had originally gone with the Count. He changed it to the Retro Count later. Once the design is finished, now we can work on colors. Normally, I would advise against gradients. Gradients can sometimes print wrong, and most printers work with a limited color gamut. But I think technology has improved. Besides, Retro just wants the logo for his YouTube channel, so he won't have to worry about printing his logo on anything. He can decide on that in the future. With the logo finalized, I worked on the YouTube banner and icon. I wanted to illustrate a nice character portrait for the icon while using the same character art in the banner. Instead, Retro Count wanted to use the symbol with his head peeking over a game controller. He wanted that as his icon. As long as that symbol is included on the banner with his logo, it wouldn't be a problem. Except the logo can't be in the center due to the imbalance caused by the character symbol on the right. Retro Count proposed a revision to the logo by including the character symbol. And now we solved the centering problem with the new logo. Not only does this solve the centering problem, but it also works to unify the icon and the banner. Even if the icon only had the character symbol, you'd know that it's part of the logo, so it's not confusing. And now I'm done. Sorry that I didn't record the final stretches of this process. It slipped my mind while I was working through finishing the logo at that time. By the way, I'm open for art commissions, which also includes YouTube banners and icon art. So, if any of you have particular ships that you would love to see come to fruition, I am open. I've left the link in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.